I want to start this off by saying that this video doesn't really have much to do with Hellsweeper. I'm not saying that this game is bad by any means, but I am using it as an example of where I think the VR gaming industry is right now and where I think it needs to go in the future. Let's get into it. A VR game that I've actually been looking forward to seeing come out? Thank you. Thank you very much. Bro, they don't have the index fingers? 2 out of 10. Oh, welcome, Hellsweeper. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. I want to tell you a little story. Now, picture this. You see a game on the popular upcoming tab in Steam, and you think, wow, that looks interesting. You see some posts on Reddit about how this game might be a great title, and when you see the days tick away and the game finally comes out, you discover that it's another roguelike game that's very similar to a lot of content already released in VR. Now, some of this is my fault. I should have done more research into the game before I got my hopes up. And I'm not even saying that Hellsweeper is bad. It's actually really cool. I mean, look at this flipping mechanic. It's very cool, very vomit-inducing. I love it. You may experience discomfort during the forced camera movement. Are you kidding me? Oh no, please. Oh, this sucks. Oh my god, that sucks. Oh my god, dude, I'm freaking gonna throw up. I mean, I can handle it, I think, but geez, is that gonna take some getting used to. I learned to like it later on. Let's just move on. Despite the fact that this game is actually fun and has some interesting mechanics, I was disappointed anyways, because right off the bat, I know that this is not going to be a game I put 100 hours into. It's not even a game I'm going to put 10 hours into. And that brings me to what I want to talk about today with the state of games in VR. There's a problem with VR games, and I think it comes down to this very weird cat and mouse between the hardware and the software. We need the good games to sell the headsets, but there's not enough headsets out there to sell the good games. For example, we can talk about Horizon Call of the Mountain. Now, Call of the Mountain was made by a big development company, Guerrilla Games, for the brand new shiny PSVR 2. A VR headset with enough of an audience to sell a bigger game and enough power behind it to really make an interesting title, unlike most games which need to cater to the Quest 2, but that's another issue. Horizon Call of the Mountain, like so many other VR games, has a lot of interesting mechanics and fun moments, but lacks in the true adventure that I often seek out when looking for more traditional flat-screen titles like the Horizon series. An 8-hour experience like this is far from just a tech demo, but the very linear gameplay of Call of the Mountain makes me think otherwise. And that brings me to Assassin's Creed Nexus, which I know many people are very excited for, but just looking at the language that Ubisoft uses to explain this game makes me worried. It makes me feel like it's just going to be another very linear 10-hour experience like Call of the Mountain was. Now, they claim that they're focused on a non-linear experience, but I just don't see it being as non-linear as the flat-screen Assassin's games have been thus far. Although I hope that they can prove me wrong on that, because a full-on Assassin's Creed game in VR would be amazing. Hell, even a port of one of their older games like Assassin's Creed 3 would be amazing. Where I really see VR being properly taken advantage of right now is in indie developers. Combat Waffle with their Tarkov-like Ghost of Tabor, and Torched Games with their upcoming Rust-like game Strayed are really showing us how VR ought to be handled. These developers are taking tried and tested formulas from flat screen and bringing them into VR. And not only that, but they're pushing the hardware like Quest 2 further than I ever thought they could. All this makes me wonder why Battlestate Games and Face Punch don't just port over Tarkov and Rust into VR. Maybe the problem is just too big, and maybe the VR industry is just too small to support such a big shift. I mean, just as a start, a VR port of either of these games would require their own dedicated servers, let alone all the work it would take to actually port them over. But it can't be more work than literally remaking the game from scratch, can it? It seems like there's a lot of apprehension from flat screen developers to get into VR. And that's frustrating, But at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing these small developers grow from their hard work. I'm glad that more small business can take advantage of the void that is the VR gaming industry, but what I really want more than anything is Horizon VR, and Assassin's Creed VR, and frickin' GTA San Andreas VR. Where the heck was that, Zuck? Huh? Where is it, man?
I'm excited to announce that the Rockstar Games classic Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is in development for Quest 2.
I think the industry today would be different if we had more large-scale VR games. And maybe if we had more of those, I could actually appreciate a VR roguelite now and then. But when every second game I see released is either a roguelite or a dungeon crawler, I just can't really get into it. Which is a shame, because Hellsweeper is really cool and does get me more active than any flat screen game ever could. But to me, VR is more than the next generation of Wii Fit. VR is a dream come true for a lot of people. It's a futuristic promise that's been made by so much popular media, and it's what should be the ultimate form of immersive gaming. And I want that promise fulfilled, like many others. I hope that when smaller devs succeed in making VR games and building hype for the industry as a whole, that these big devs don't pull the rug out from under them once the audience is actually there. But at the same time, I want those big devs to make the big AAA games to push the VR industry forward. Someone is going to have to take the risk of developing a game that can actually sell the hardware and make VR the thing we all see coming. I just hope that happens before we all get sick of roguelites. Anyways, that's my little rant for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, baby, I'm the Hell Sweeper! Sweeping up hell. Do 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 do.